Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the New Era Paranormal Podcast with JD Curry and Irina Kilways. This week, we are joined by another member of Illuminate, Chris Clardy. They do animal communication, tarot, a new form of divination that I just learned about. Um, so, Chris, how did you get started with psychic work and the supernatural realm?
Um, good, good evening, everybody. I have been a lover of all things supernatural since I was a little kid. I'm that little kid that when I was way too young to watch horror movies and watch the movie Poltergeist and anything on TV that was of supernatural interest, I watched it. Um, my first obsession, I would say, was probably watching the Bionic Woman as she was fighting with Bigfoot. so um, I've always had a draw to things that seem to be not of this world. Um, but I have been doing. I started studying tarot about 6 years ago now, and that kind of was the floodgate that opened for me, and it kind of opened all these different worlds to me. And I decided I wanted to go and learn more about tarot, and I went to this what I thought was a tarot meetup one night, and it was actually a development circle. I got the night mixed up and I ended up in this development circle, and then there was no going back. I ended up going to the development circle and stayed in that circle I actually still go now occasionally. But I went regularly for 3 years to that circle.
Was
Um,
that for tarot or was that for psychic?
No, that was a psychic and mediumship development circle. The tarot. I went to this. It was their divination meetup group, and I thought I was going to a tarot class, and it ended up being a mediumship and psychic development circle. Um, and it just completely changed my world. Um,
No,
and
no
I there's
coincidences.
right. It was just completely life changing. So everything ever since then I've been obsessed. So
That's
lots and
awesome.
lots of learning I've done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where did the animal communication part come in?
Um so that did come in. Learning to do it came in a couple of years later. I've grown up. I'm a farm kid. I grew up on a farm. I've had horses um most of my life. I did have a span of a number of years I didn't have them because I was too poor. They're not cheap animals to keep.
Yeah.
And I did look at them for a long time like they were a four-legged job, which they are. They're a lot of
Yeah.
work. But I had somebody say to me one time, you should try to look into doing animal communication. And I'm like, I don't want to be Dr. Doolittle and have animals talking in my head. That'll drive me insane. Um, and the more I thought about it and the more I kind of like put things together, I realized I had been doing this since I was a little kid, but I didn't know that I was doing it. I didn't realize that what I was sensing and what I would know, especially about horses, was actually a form of communication until I started doing the development circle and the psychic work and starting to put things together. And once I realized I was not going to be like Dr. Doolittle and have, the guinea pig talking to me,
Yeah.
I decided to take a animal communication class and learned how to do it the right way and utilize what I already knew, which a lot of what I do is telepathic and this just inner knowing of what's going on with the animal. And I tend to, just like my mediumship, I tend to start sensing feelings, sensing um, emotions and energy, and then that kind of converts into a language of what is going on with that animal and where I need to focus my attention to with them, whether it's a behavioral issue, if it's something that's just not quite right in their body, or if it's something that their humans doing that they can, if they can change, it'll make their lives better. So that that's been my primary focus was is helping people with their pets. And I've helped people with dogs, cats, horses. The oddest thing that I have gotten was a hermit crab.
Yeah.
Um, and it was Danielle. I was standing and talking to Danielle one day and I started going like this. And I'm like, what is this? What little critter is this? And it was a hermit crab.
That's
And
funny.
they're more like an insect, aren't they, than like a mammal?
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah.
There's still a little energy that has an opinion.
If it's the best way to describe it, if it's living and breathing, you can
Yeah,
communicate with it.
right, right. I haven't tried. I'm not much with, probably because I can't keep a house plant alive. I haven't really tried that. If it's not something that only needs to be watered like once every couple of weeks, then it's not going to live in my house.
Yeah, you
Cactus.
spend a lot more time outside though, right? So that's fine.
Yes,
You're amongst the
yes,
trees.
yes, yes. I've been in the house now for about 25 minutes. Like, I need to get done out here and get back in the house.
It keeps you grounded. That's a good thing. So you don't need
Yes,
to
it
have a
does.
plant in the house to communicate with nature. You're perfectly fine.
Correct. I have plenty of living creatures outside to help me with that. That's for sure.
So you mentioned something about like the why their behavioral issues. It brings me to one of my questions. Do you have an example of a situation like like a love like the family member of the pet, they're experiencing behavioral issues like marking or or biting or things like that. Can you give an example of something you've like experienced and if it's helped their behavior? Because they'll go to the trainer, but to come to the animal communicator, how does that help them?
So there is what I commonly find, it are people who adopt dogs, cats, from rescues that they didn't raise. They were found as a stray, or their owners had to give them up for one reason or another. And a lot of times people with animals that came from that kind of situation, they've got a lot of baggage. So because they didn't raise them, it's hard for them to figure out what triggers are for them. So a lot of what I do when I'm working with an animal, especially from that situation, is I'm trying to feel what's going on with them now, and then I have them kind of take me back in their past and sense what happened to them to kind of cause these triggering behaviors, like having some kind of anxiety situation. And that anxiety with pets, is a big problem that can manifest in a lot of different ways, whether, like you were talking about, with marking on things, with being afraid of specific genders of people, um, and how to get them through something like that. I talked to a lady last week that had this dog that was just terrified when people came over. Now, it was fine if it was outside of the yard. Um, it was still a little standoffish and leery, but it was terrified if people came into its environment. It would hide, it would bark, it would act aggressive. And what I kind of figured out is this dog, it missed this vital part of when it was a puppy, of having that proper socialization. And it only had one person around it all the time. And it when somebody new would come into the situation, it would be very territorial, but it had this lack of confidence going on with it. So it was acting out in an aggressive way because it felt threatened. So in situations like that, what I like to suggest to people is have your friends come over, and this sounds strange, but have them bring over one of their dirty shirts that they don't care about it getting mucked up. Leave that shirt at the house so that dog can get used to smelling that person's presence,
Yeah.
and have very short introductions to the person to get this dog getting used to people coming in and out of the house. And that way you don't have to keep it locked in the bedroom every time you have guests over. And I get feedback from situations like that, a few weeks later of, oh my gosh, it's not terrified of my best friend coming over anymore, or it's warming up to strangers better. So just really kind of drilling into what has happened to that dog. And some situations, it's somebody that's coming in and out of the house. It may not be a person who likes pets, who thinks that it's okay to have a pet in the house. And I can usually say, hey, you've got somebody coming in. It feels like a brother that doesn't like having dogs in the house, and he doesn't like dogs very much. And your dog is feeling that anxiety from your brother of that, I don't like you. And that is why your dog is hiding, cowering, growling, whatever it may be doing. So it's a lot of reading the dog, reading the owner, and reading its surroundings. So there's a lot of components going on there.
It sounds like you apply your background with animals too, like your experience with animals
Yes,
when you're working with clients.
yes. So I find that very helpful. I have heard of other animal communicators, they don't like to know a lot about breeds, or they don't like to know a lot about um, the specific situation. They just want to get the language from the animal. But I like to encompass a lot of things, because I don't want to just be able to tell somebody your dog's really upset, and he doesn't like how he doesn't like this person that's coming over to the house. I want to say your dog gets triggered by people that do things like this, and this is part of their breed and their nature to want to have this type of, like, a herding behavior. If you have like a cattle dog, and you have somebody come over that they don't like, and they're running in a circle around that person, and they're staying on the outskirts of them. They're trying to herd that person into a location that makes them feel safe. If the owner doesn't understand that behavior, then how are they going to fix it? I can say anything about what that animal's thoughts and feelings are about it, but I want to try to give people an understanding of why they're doing that behavior, and give them the tools to understand, not just from an emotional standpoint, but from a breed standpoint, what they can do to fix it. I don't know if you guys have heard of Caesar Milan. He's a dog trainer in California. I just love him. But he always, says, and they first they're an animal, second they're a breed. They're never a human. So you have to figure out the dynamic of that breed to give solid evidence and figure out how to fix things.
I always had a little bit of a feeling that he had a little bit of ability. It's
Oh,
not just
absolutely.
the fact that
Because
he
he's
can,
working with it, with the dog.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. He definitely does. If you go back in some of a famous blonde medium's shows, you will find an interview that he did with him.
Oh,
And-
yes. Yes. Yeah, I know which one you're talking about.
yes, yes, yes. I didn't want to throw the name out there because I didn't want to get anybody in trouble. So, but yeah,
Yes,
he did a really good reading with him, and it was pretty. It's absolutely the case. He I think he's communicating with animals in a lot deeper level than he even realizes. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
So,
I feel like it's a lot of that being able to feel energy, and a lot of people having that ability, just not working with it.
correct, correct. A lot of people, I don't think they. I'm going to kind of use an analogy of myself for that matter. Um, and Irene, you may be able to kind of attest to this too. You were doing stuff and saying stuff and feeling stuff when you were a child that you didn't understand was not normal for the average person. And I think that people in general have these abilities, and it's just they've either grown up in a household that has suppressed it, or whatever religious background they come from doesn't allow it. But I believe that everybody has the ability to do it. Do they have the ability to be a a a professional baseball player? Is everybody got that equipment? No, but anybody can learn how to be a baseball player. So
yeah.
it's kind of along that. That's what how I feel about that.
No, I agree with you completely. I mean, there are tons of stories from, pretty much every medium. If they didn't have a more open environment, accepting their abilities and nurturing their abilities, where they all, somehow knew. I mean, I would do things when I would work at some of the one of the jobs that I worked at, I would know that I would needed to get something together, like, oh, I need to work on that and finalize that one project and get it together and talk to my boss or whatever about it. And I would go in either the next morning or it would happen during the day, and it would be done, and it would be an hour later I'd get a phone call asking for an update on that project. And
Yeah,
so, it happens to all of us. And, and you're not realizing it, but you're actually, your abilities never go away. They will
yeah,
always be there. There will always be pushing. And it's just, we choose to somehow ignore them or turn a blind eye. And like, as a society, we've done it, not just suppressing it, but a blind eye to it being an ability. We call it a
yeah,
gut feeling, or, you know, happenstance, but it's not.
yeah,
You just knew
yeah.
to be there.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. It's just it amazes me when it's that's honestly that's one of the reasons I really love teaching.
Yeah.
Because you see people who are um have this little bit of something, and if you can feed them enough so they can kind of dig into it and feel it out and go, wow, I did that, or wow, that is a thing. I mean, it's just so cool seeing people unfold. I absolutely
Yeah.
love teaching people.
And if it wasn't for the early classes, you wouldn't believe that you had an ability.
Yes,
So,
yes,
that's when your eyes go, oh my gosh, this might be real.
yeah, absolutely, yeah, yeah. It's just the unfoldment process is just it's so cool. And I currently am teaching a class that's a 5-week intro to mediumship class, and just like seeing people's face light up when they're like, oh my gosh, I made that connection, or oh my gosh, I got that. It's so cool, it's so fun.
I'm glad you bring that up. Do you want to talk a little bit more about it, and do you offer it regularly, and just
um
some of the details, and what your
sure.
background needs to be a part of the class, if any?
Well, this basic class, all you want, the only requirement is that you want to figure this out and you want to do this. You want to learn about psychic and mediumship abilities. You have that open mind to it and that you want to learn about it. This class that I am doing now is specifically for that person, that curious person who has had things happen that has led them to, I need to learn how this works. So this is, you don't have to have any prior skills. You just have to have the want to learn how to develop. And I start with the very, very basics of, your clairs, and leaning into which one you are currently seeing as, seeing your potential with, and learning how to lean into that, and learning your spirit language and how cues come in, and learning, the first class before I started even teaching any kind of meditation process was ethics. And I feel that above and beyond anything else, when you are learning to do stuff in this realm, is you need to be able to go into it with the best of intentions and knowing how to deliver things to people. Because if you do not, I have seen so many people out there that are self-taught that are very, very damaging, and they don't have the finesse to talk to people, or they get this overwhelming feeling that I've got to tell this person this right now. And people are fragile, especially people who are in a mourning state. They're very, very fragile. And you've got to understand that, and you've got to know about permission and timing and finesse with how to deliver things. And I really, really emphasize that in this very first class that I taught. Was we went over that really, really well. Because we all want to do this to help people, not hurt people.
Right, exactly. And this is truly a fulfilling, no pun intended, medium. This is truly a fulfilling medium. But the thing is that, we've had, I'm sure you've had this experience too. I mean, I know you've had this experience too, where somebody comes back and says, I came and sat in that reading and it changed the trajectory of my life. It changed my life.
Absolutely.
But and you feel this fulfillment, not that we take credit for it all, but you feel this fulfillment, but then you can have just as much impact in the other direction.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And so teaching that part, it makes it's so it's vital, it's important.
Yeah. 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 It's back when I think it was I want to say it was probably the second development circle that I went to. There was somebody in that development circle, and we were all learning. We were all brand new about it, but there was a discussion that came out, and my instructor that was leading that circle was very quick to stop it and say, "Hey, you can't bring certain things like that up in a in a group like this. And if you're in a one-on-one with somebody, you still need to ask permission if it's okay to discuss a topic like this, because this can just be completely debilitating for somebody and set somebody back years if they were trying to heal from something.
Yeah.
So yeah, I cannot emphasize enough like how important I think that proper delivery. I mean, now everybody is used to seeing, television mediums go up to people in grocery stores and just blah 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 blah. And while that is seems to be okay on TV, it's a bad thing to feed the general public on what is okay for a medium to do. That
Yeah.
definitely has to have the labor of this, the label of this is for entertainment purposes only,
They
because
don't see the production team getting permission slips and
right. They don't see any of that going around in the background, and it's unfortunate that that is that the perception sometimes. and the
Yeah.
perception of things going is a lot smoother than they actually do, because they don't.
Yeah.
Sometimes you'll have great ones and sometimes you're struggling, and
Yeah.
the general public also has that perception of, it's like watching TV, right? You have this running through your head and you can see, exactly what they look like, and their name, and when they were born and what street they live on. No, 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 no. Doesn't quite
You like
work that
forget you're
way.
human too. You have days,
Yeah,
bad days, good connections, bad connections.
absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, that's always a difficult one to explain when you have a really challenging sitter, that's for sure.
People also forget, you make a good point there, but do you believe the same thing where if somebody I mean, things can still come through, but if somebody's truly closed off and like, nope, nope, why are you sitting in front of the media? Like
Right.
looking for a message, because you have to be willing to accept the message as well as, the medium give you a message.
Right. I have learned when I have a challenging client like that, I always tell them that, A, I may not get your loved one because you want something very, very specific. And
Yes, yes.
B, you probably have other people that are going to come in and make their piece, say what they want to say, but they'll move out of the way and let your loved one come in and talk about, the message that you're looking to get. But the other thing that's restrictive is, what they are trying to convey on to me may not be in my vocabulary, and that may not I might not be the medium for you.
Yeah,
I might not have the life experiences to explain or to connect with the message that they are trying to give.
exactly.
So that's always a tough one.
Yeah, and I mean, you teach it in the introductory course too. The spirit comes to the medium that can best deliver their message, and
Yes,
so it makes a
yes,
lot of
yes,
sense.
yes, yes. Yeah, yeah, that was also in day one class. Yeah, yeah, the ins and outs and nuances of how it can be, and it's 9 times out of 10 you're going to be able to connect with somebody for whoever your sitter is. You're going to be able to get somebody. But more often than not, I think when somebody has something so specific in mind, they're kind of shutting off other things that would make sense. And later on, they start going, "Oh, yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah."
So just to clarify, for a sitter, you mean somebody that's getting a reading, a one-on-one reading?
Yes, yes. Who the sitter would be, the person, the client that you are doing the reading for. Yes,
Okay.
yes.
okay, question for you. If a person
Hmm.
is coming for a reading, JD made me think of this, dog sits, sit
Yeah.
and you get a treat. How do you get the animal to sit, and like, how do you read the animal if they're alive? To get their, to get understanding, do they have to sit with you in person? Can they do it through Zoom? Do they sit and behave when you get the reading? Do you do something different, if they're not sitting and behaving?
They do not need to sit and behave. I do not need them sitting in the room with me. I can do them via Zoom. I did 6 readings today with no animal present, and one had a photo. So I tend to think I need a photo, and I really don't. Um, you get stuck on sometimes on crutches because you've gotten comfortable with
Yeah,
doing things that way. But
yeah,
no, I don't need I don't I have done readings where I've had no verbal communication with the client either, where I've done something and either sent them an email, or done like a voice to talk and sent them what I got. So all I need to know basically is, um, the animal's name, um, and if I don't even, well, today I didn't even need a brief description of them. I just need to have that permission to tap into their energy, really, is what it boils down to. But I have done animal readings with the pet there. Um, we did an event last summer at Illuminate, and people brought their pets in, and that's always a lot of fun. Just having that interaction. Those are my favorite when I'm doing pet readings, is having that interaction. And I absolutely love going to boarding stables and doing readings for the horse owners. And that is what is, I geek out because it's horse language, and it's like speaking a foreign language. So I can talk to them how I talk to a lot of my horse friends, and explain things in horse language, which is always a lot of fun. Um, but yeah, having a photo, I do a lot of Zoom readings. I would say I do more Zoom readings than probably anything else. So, and they can
Okay,
be ill behaved there too.
what does horse language mean? What do you mean by horse language?
um, it's kind of like if you were in a sport and you knew, like we'll use, I am not a sports person at all. I had horses when I was a kid. I didn't do sports. But having that language of like making calls and knowing what maneuvers you need to do to get to a certain place, is kind of, I guess, the same thing. So, when you're talking about a person who rides Western, and you're talking about how they're seated in a saddle position, and how they're keeping their heels down, their toes up, um and certain gaits that they're going through, and saying, okay, so when you're loping along and you feel the stumble on the left, and you feel the right hop give out. I mean, stuff like that, stuff like
Okay,
that.
got it.
So you're talking about body parts and movement while you're riding, and pieces of tack and what they're used for. And I don't get me started. So it's like any other sport. Even if you were talking about a dog that did like, you were doing obstacle stuff with, and you were doing agility, and you're talking about running through the tunnels, and and referring to different things that they would do when they got out of the tunnel, and getting down on their haunches. And um so yeah, that's I think what I really love about animal communication too, is just I understand a lot of the language between it, whether it's a dog, a cat, a horse. I just I pick it up so fast. Um, and I've been like that since I was a little kid. It's just anything to do with an animal, I'll pick it up really quick.
That's awesome.
And it gives the owners that sense of security of, okay, she's talking to my animal, but she understands where I'm coming from with the sport I do, or the if I'm showing them and how I present them. And it's that reaffirming feeling of, okay, it's just not some woo woo person coming and saying, oh, I think your puppy is having a bad day today. I mean, it's a different level, I think.
So you don't
And
only
you
do
see what,
animals. You don't. Oh, sorry. Go ahead. Finish your thought.
and you can tell I get excited about it. It's just I love it.
Well, that's awesome. If it's not an easy job to do. So you have to love it. The
Yeah,
way it affects us in all aspects. But
yeah.
the so well, I have so many more questions to ask about animals, but like what and I know we don't have a lot of time, but I cannot help. I cannot, like, before I go to that question, I keep thinking, do you remember the show Mr. Ed? They played
Yes,
on
yes,
with the horse that
yes,
would talk to Wilbur. I just keep
yes.
seeing that in my mind. So I don't know if that means anything to you, if you used to watch it when you were young. but I just keep seeing Mr. Ed in my mind. But
So there was another show on along the same period of time as Mr. Ed was on, and there was Mr. Ed, and then there was Francis the Talking Mule.
oh yeah.
So my mom's name is Frances, and she hates her name because of Francis the Talking Mule. So Francis the Talking Mule and Mr. Ed were always like, don't we, when I was little, my dad and I would watch it on Sunday mornings. They would rerun those old shows and we would watch them Sunday mornings
Yeah.
together. But we didn't watch them with my mom because my mom would be like, turn that dang thing off. So
Oh, man.
yes, that brings up, Mr. Ed does bring up a lot of childhood memories for me.
So I could probably still sing. I know we didn't watch it live, of course, because it's an older show, but like I could still sing the theme song to it. Yeah. So anyway, but I digress. So you don't only do animals; you also talk with humans. You do readings for human beings.
Yes, I do. I
You
do.
teach the class, but you know, but
Yes.
it's not just an animal communication intro to mediumship class. It's all intro to mediumship class.
Yes. 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 Yeah, I do. I would say I do as much mediumship for people as I do for animals. And yes, I do mediumship for animals. So I do talk to animals that have crossed over. When I get a lot of people coming to me because they've had to have their pet put down and they're just completely devastated about that. And they also, a lot of the times when they are asking me that, they want to know which one of their loved one is taking care of their animals for them. So that's a really common one to do. Yeah.
That's pretty
Yeah,
cool.
we have Jenny here talking about her experience with you.
Hello, Jenny. Jenny's awesome.
Yes, she is.
Pretty sure we
Yep,
had
yep.
her on the
Thank you.
show,
Yep.
didn't we?
She was a previous guest. She's also a tarot reader. That brings us into our next set of
Yeah,
questions.
what
Do
is
you want to
that
ask?
unique category of tarot? Because I asked Irene and neither of us were that familiar with that one.
He's talking
So
about
are
Lenormand. Like I know the
Lenormand.
basics of Lenormand. I can read a deck, but the history of Lenormand I couldn't give him.
Okay,
So,
so
but wait,
Lenormand.
before you describe, you teach a class also. So make sure you
Yes,
talk about that when
yes,
you.
yes. I actually I have a set of fall classes. Last year I did a set of spring classes at Illuminate. This year I'm doing a set of fall classes. I just did one, my first one last weekend. Was it last weekend? And it was astral projection. So that was the first in the series. My next one's going to be scrying. And then I'm going to do a psychometry class, and then December, and it's the first Sunday. All of these classes are the first Sunday in December, from 3 to 4:30 at Illuminate. And the
Person.
Lenormand class is going to be in an hour and a half. You can't really get like from soup to nuts how to
Yeah.
be a proficient reader, but at least it's my goal is to at least get the interest in your feet wet, because Lenormand is actually a really easy thing to learn how to do. If you like doing oracle cards and tarot kind of scares you because it's so much, Lenormand is a good in the middle kind of thing to learn how to start doing. And Lenormand there was a lady, and I can't remember her first name off the top of my head, but her last name was Lenormand. And she did not invent Lenormand. There was a French man that put the Lenormand deck together, and he kind of capitalized on her notoriety back in that time period. And it was back in the early 1800s. And he marketed this deck as it being something that she invented, but she did not. She read with playing cards. So when you look at a lot of Lenormand decks, you will see a playing card Not all, it depends on the deck you get, but a lot of Lenormand decks will have a playing card number on the deck, as well as having a number of which card it is. And there's 34 cards in a Lenormand deck. And each card in a deck has a very specific meaning. And Lenormand, unlike tarot, you kind of read them in a sentence, and you can't pull one Lenormand card out and read one Lenormand card. You need at least two, but it's better if you had three cards. And so you'll literally read them like a sentence, and they're very blunt. Tarot to me is more of a storyteller. It's going to kind of do an unfoldment of your recent past, your present, and your recent future is how I end up reading them. But they will give you a guideline of what's going on, and the cadence of how things are happening, and give you possible ways to work through a situation. Lenormand is going to say, your job is going nowhere. You need to get out.
Yeah.
I mean, it's blunt.
I tend to read it more intuitively, but it even says that in an intuitive way. It's amazing
Yes.
how it.
Yes. Yeah. And I don't think this is technically how you're supposed to use Lenormand cards. You're supposed to, technically, Lenormand, you can give somebody who has no intuition whatsoever a Lenormand deck, and they can do a reading. If they know the card meanings, they can do a reading. But because I am also a tarot reader, I end up I love reading with Lenormand cards that have the playing cards on them, because I start putting my tarot spin on stuff, because the suits mean certain things with like the cards in tarot, and you can get that blunt meaning about something, and you can get like the frilly part from tarot by using the playing card part of it. So yeah, they're pretty cool. I was watching this gentleman. He's got a YouTube channel called Tarot Oracle, and it was during COVID, and I was home like everybody else was, and I watched his series and didn't have a deck yet. I went and bought a deck after I watched his series, and I could read them. His explanation of everything was that good.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So they're fun. I get a big kick out of them.
So you teach the Lenormand class, but you're also teaching the tarot class. Do you want to tell people a little bit about your? I know you talked a little bit about it, but a little more about your tarot background and what people who maybe, I know we're on a paranormal podcast, but people who may need a little bit of an idea, on like it can be scary. So like, how do you approach it?
So there are no evil cards in a tarot deck. There's not. Tarot is.
Card, it doesn't mean I'm going to die tomorrow. Chris, no.
Well, you never know. No, it does not. The death card does not mean it doesn't mean literal death. It means the ending of something. It means something as run its course, and it's coming to an end, and it's time for you to move on from a situation. The devil card doesn't mean you're gonna get taken over by the devil. It has nothing to do with Satan. It's about being constrained. It's about, being held back. If you, do I have a deck by me? I have right here. I've got decks all over the place. I'm a tarot card junkie. I'm terrible. But the devil card, if you look at the devil card, there's the lovers are actually on the tarot card, on the devil card, chained together. But if you look at those chains, they're hanging loosely on their arms. They could get out of them. So the devil card is mostly about being confined by something or addictions. Whether it's any kind of addiction, a food addiction, an alcohol addiction, a drug addiction. And it's about, it's you are holding yourself there. It's not you're being constrained there.
It's like a self-imposed.
So yes, it's self-imposed. Yeah. So tarot, I went into I went into a shop one time with a good friend of mine, and I had never been. It was a metaphysical shop, and I had never been into this place before. And I'm walking around and I'm looking at things, and I was on my lunch break from work, and I was looking at the tarot cards, and my friend handed me this deck of cards. I was seeing if I had it immediately to my side over here, and I don't see it jumping out at me. But I looked at it, and she goes, "You need those." So that's how I came into tarot. And I took them home, and she egged me on a few times and was like, "I'm coming over next Saturday for a reading." I'm like, "I don't know what I'm doing yet." So I have that pressure to kind of learn quickly. And um, my partner, Kate, she loves tarot, and she has been getting tarot readings for we've been together for almost 30 years. Um, and she's been getting readings since before she met me. And she now it's kind of a weekend thing. We sit at the table and on Saturday or Sunday morning and do card readings. So it's a part of our life now. But she's also been super encouraging about all of this stuff. She loves it, I think, as much as I do, and she's always been very supportive and encouraging and helpful with all of this stuff and all of my crazy antics that I go off on.
That's great. It's good to have a support system. If I didn't have my
Absolutely.
support system, some of our experiences aren't easy experiences. And I'm not just talking about
Yeah.
doing the work, I'm talking about external stresses and
Yeah.
experiences. So it's good to have a
Yeah.
strong support system.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It wouldn't it it would I don't think I'd be able to do it without it, you know. It's
Yeah.
it's it's funny because, and ironically funny, it's you would think that you don't realize like how many people, like taboo kind of things, come up with this whole thing. So it's, especially when you have a regular job, and
Yeah.
you're you can't completely divulge, what your weekend hobbies are.
Yes, definitely. It's
Yeah.
tough.
Yes, it is. It is. But
Watching the blood drain out of their faces once you've told them what you're planning on going to do, and them trying
right,
to figure out how to respond
right, 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 right.
while backing
Yeah.
slowly out of the room.
Yes. Yeah, it's funny because you go into my office at work, and there's subtle things in there that, like, you would pick up on if you walked into my office. The first thing is there's a magic 8 ball sitting on the corner of my desk. The other thing is I've
The
got like
the original
little
medium.
absolutely. I've got little tarot decks sitting on my desk, like underneath my monitors. I've got a couple sitting there, and I've got a couple of crystals. And then you open the magic drawer on the side, and there's Lenormand tarot, couple oracle decks in there. Yeah, yeah. Sometimes I have to
Sounds
talk
like
to
you
the
may have a
cards
little
to
bit of
get
a
through my
card
day.
addiction. What?
Yeah, a little bit. I think I
It's okay.
probably have. I have a good. I There's probably 50 decks sitting next to me.
I get it. I get
I've been picky though. I've gotten a lot pickier. I'm more into getting kind of indie decks now that artists are creating, and they'll have them like on Kickstarter,
Yeah,
um or they're selling them on Etsy. So supporting, artists and stuff that are doing them. I'm enjoying that much more now than the mass produced ones. Yeah.
It's good that you support other people too.
Yeah.
yeah. Do you have any experience with hauntings, paranormal?
So I yes, I have a video that I'm gonna have to show you guys of my barn, that I want you to see. Um,
Maybe we should come out and investigate it as part of the documentary series.
yeah, yeah. There's definitely, I definitely have some activity on the out. The house is cleared, and I don't feel anything inside the house anymore. But the barn, there's definitely some stuff going on in the barn. I have a camera out there, and I caught some interesting stuff on the camera. But my own paranormal experience. I grew up in Albuquerque, New Mexico. So there is a local legend
Period. That's
out
all
there
you have to
that's
say.
yeah,
Sorry, go
La La Llorona is
ahead.
a big legend in the area, and I was terrified of her when I was little. But we moved onto this piece of property, and my parents were building a house, and we were living in a mobile home while the house was being built. And my bedroom was really small, and I had this is dating me. I think I've said a few things by now that's dating my age, but I had a water bed, and
Sorry.
yes,
I
I
love
had a
it.
water bed when I was a kid. Um, and I woke up in the middle of the night and I thought that the water bed had sprung a leak because I was drenched. And I'm feeling around and I'm like, no, it's not. It's the bed's fine. It's me. I must have had a nightmare. So I go back to sleep. And when I settled to turn to go back to sleep, I caught something out of the corner of my eye and I turned and looked and I saw a woman in the best way to describe it is like Little House on the Prairie clothes. And it was her from the waist up. And it scared me half to death. So, and I was like 14, I think, 13, 14. So I rolled back over facing the wall and I had a window looking out that way. And I felt a hand on my shoulder pull me back over. And I screamed bloody murder for my dad. I went running down the hallway. And I'm like, Dad, somebody's in the house. And he jumped up with his gun and went outside looking around. He's like, there's nobody here. That was the first time I know I saw a ghost.
Yeah.
And you would think that age, getting that scared, it would have scared me from. Oh no, it's like it opened up a huge
Curiosity.
bag of worms. And I've been obsessed with, I watched Ghost Hunters when it first came on, and I've been a big fan of that show for a number of years. And I like going out and going ghost hunting in places and seeing what I can pick up. I've been to the House of Wills, and that was intense. I'm going back in a few weeks. That was the experiences I had there was incredible. But yeah, I would really like to do more of that. I haven't done enough of it, and I need to do more because it's it's awesome.
Okay, well, so you've talked about your classes and your readings, but you have an announcement of something that's coming up that will be starting on what is it, October 2nd?
Yes, Thursday, October 2nd, I will be on AR1 radio, and it's also called Moonstruck TV. And I will have a show that will be airing on it. They broadcast it on Facebook, YouTube, and they stream it on most every podcast streaming platform. And I'll be doing animal readings. It's going to be called Tales from the Other Side, and TAILS.
Yeah.
And it's going to be I'll be doing some animal communications, doing readings and questions, answering questions about animal communications and stuff. So I'm really excited about that.
Is it going to air every Thursday, same time?
It's yes, it'll be on every Thursday at 9:30.
Okay. And it does it
Yes,
go for half an hour, an hour?
it's about 15 minutes. It's a short one.
Oh, it's a
Yeah.
15-minute. Okay. Yeah.
Yes, it's only going to be a 15-minute show. And after I get more comfortable with it, I have the option to extend it to 30 minutes if I wanted to do that. So
So
I'm going to start with 15 minutes.
when you do a reading on the show, will it be somebody that like chats or calls, or do you use somebody that like information that you've had from before, like a picture or something?
So people have the ability to log on and ask for a reading, and there's a producer that will pick the person wanting the reading, and I will do the reading for who. It's kind of a first come first serve. Whoever gets logged in um, the quickest and asks the question the quickest. That's the production team will pick a person and give me the question, and I'll do the reading from there. So they're kind of running, doing everything in the background for me. Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
So if somebody wants to see or get, like, say, you know, what is the link that they would it be moonstruck.tv, or would there be, is there a different link?
There's ar1radio.com or moonstrucktv.com. You can find it. And AR1 Radio has a Facebook page. And you can start following that Facebook page. They have a lot of programs on there. This platform is about 25 years old. So it's been doing a lot of supporting the psychic and mediumship community for a really long time. So yeah, you can find them on YouTube. If you look up AR1 Radio on YouTube, you can follow them that way. And I will start posting more links and stuff on my Facebook page soon, and my YouTube page.
Medium Chris Clardy. That's your Facebook page?
That's my Facebook page. And Medium Chris Clardy is my YouTube page. And my website is Tarot and Lenormand by Chris. That one came along first. So
.com.
.com. Yes. .com.
And they can also book readings through that site as well, right?
Yes, you can go to my my webpage, tarotandlenormandbychris.com, and you can either book a reading online, or you can send me a message on my website, and I will get back to you and get something set up for you. And I can do, if they're local, I can meet people at Illuminate and do readings at Illuminate. If they're not, then I can do Zoom readings. Or if you're, wanting something done and the weather's inclement, Zoom readings are always easy to do, and I can set something up that way.
And all of your classes are in person at Illuminate?
Yes, my classes, my scrying class, the psychometry class, and the Lenormand class, those are all at Illuminate. My mediumship class right now is I'm teaching it at my house. So that one I will stretch to other locations once I've got to get it formatted to make it more. I want to do something that's like a day and a half long intensive, instead of stringing it out for weeks. I think it'll be easier for people to not have to set those many days aside to commit to doing them. And I will be doing this later this fall. I'm going to be doing an animal communication class as well. So
very nice.
That's probably November. That one's going to get scheduled for early November. I just got to pin the weekend down that I can start that one.
Okay, big question. Can people bring a pet with them to that class?
To the not to the class. I'm probably not to the class. No. Unless I can find a mutual location. That's actually a great idea. If I can kind of make a plan for other people to bring their pets to do their practice readings, that would be a lot of fun. Yeah. I would just have to figure out a common ground to do that. Yeah. Got to be careful bringing pets into the mix.
More puppies than kittens. That's all.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, Irene, I'm here for the animal communication class so I can pet puppies.
That's it. I'm just going to be there to pet the puppies and, the kittens.
I'm here for
everybody else.
I'm here for moral support.
Yeah, that's it.
And to watch your pets.
Yeah. You have a volunteer.
Oh goodness.
Chris, I think if you want to give a few comments, talk about this a little bit
Marianne.
before we part.
Okay, yeah, I do remember doing that reading for her. Um, when my dogs passed away, I was devastated. He came to me in a dream with my grandfather. Yes, it is very common for pets are going to come to us just like our loved ones do. Um, so, and you can kind of help invoke that more often, just like you would do with one of your loved ones passing away, and quieting your mind before you go to bed. And the biggest thing to help facilitate that, whether it be a pet or a loved one, is give them permission to come to you, because 9 times out of 10, they haven't come to you in a dream yet because they don't want to hurt you. Your grieving hasn't gone far enough for them to not, they want to make you feel better when you remember that dream the next day. They don't want you to be sad because you still miss them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Chris. It's been great having you on. Congratulations on all of the upcoming, the show and all the upcoming events and classes. It's awesome watching you progress and
Yeah.
throw all these opportunities for people to learn out there.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful thing to watch, and I hope I get to experience. I might come for that puppy communication class.
That would be awesome. That would be awesome. And I feel the same about you. It's I love watching you continue to grow, and the new adventures that you've been going on is that you've had going on is just it's so cool to watch, and to be in the company of somebody who's progressing and growing and doing so many great things like you are.
Yep, you too. I just and we do other fun things, outside of that too, in terms of,
Yeah.
trying to do little investigations and things like that, and have experience. And we do events together. So
Yeah.
I really
Yeah.
enjoy doing those events with you as well. So
Yeah.
it's been a great experience. Great friendship, I think.
Absolutely. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
Thank you,
Sorry,
Chris.
JD, with all the love. Sorry, we're giving each other all the love. We love you too, JD. You're awesome.
Well, I get that. You guys learned at the same place under Patty and uh, I'm forgetting her name,
Danielle.
Ginny.
Jenny,
Oh,
Jenny.
Jenny. Jenny. Yeah. Yeah. Jenny, I just love
She's
Jenny to
awesome.
pieces. She's
She
just
is
so
awesome.
awesome. She
Like an
is. She's
amazing tarot reader too, on
We're
top of
gonna get
everything.
yes.
down the show so much though. We should get like a sponsor package or something.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. Yeah, it's just a great community there. There's so many people who, will go out of your way to help you, and are so they're everybody's so supportive, and it's just it's a great environment to be in, and they're just wonderful, loving people, and everybody is genuine. There's none of that um drama, or somebody trying to outshine anybody. Everybody really, really tries to hold each other up there. Yeah.
It's good.
Thank you so much, Chris.
All righty. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, so thanks everyone for joining us for this episode. Next weekend or next Sunday, we are not going to have a show. We are going to be a guest on a different show because I submitted our pilot, the Eagle Hotel investigation video, to the Hollow Paranormal Convention and Film Festival in Boontown, New Jersey. So we are going to be a guest on that show to talk about that documentary. It's
That's
going to
awesome.
be for the Private Eye Paranormal series. I will be there in person for that event, and it sounds like we should have one other member from the team at the event and on the podcast. So I will let everyone know once that interview is out. Um, Otherwise, just keep up with us on New Era Paranormal on all social media, and have a good night.
Good night.
Good night.